So, Timothy Gregory asks, is there any way to cook bugs to avoid getting a mood debuff, maybe in a stew? And okay, so I know it's been a rough few years, kind of a rough patch, but are we really to this point? I mean, if you really need help, just ask. I can Venmo you some ramen cash, my dude. Just let me know. But after looking at some of the other questions, I think these two are asking about Project Zomboid. And yes, there is another food question related too, so hold on, subscribe, and let's get to it.
But first, a quick costume change, and let's get cooking.
Now, bugs do have a 20 happiness debuff when you eat them, and even if you throw them in the oven real quick, they only get a bit more healthy to eat, but the happiness debuff remains. But what about adding them to stew, or burritos, or omelets to bulk those up, add more calories?
And a quick tick on the Know All Recipes cheat box, and a bit of
Shopping through the item manager, and pockets just filled with food and wriggling bugs of all shapes and descriptions. Oh, we find that no, these insects can't be added to the stew or burrito or any other recipe, even as a miscellaneous ingredient to remove the debuff, because they're not part of the recipe. However, they can be added to one food to get rid of it. Fish, specifically by using them as bait, filleting the fish, and cooking it. I prefer in a butter sauce with shallots and wild mushrooms. So, no, sorry, that's not a good idea. Also, if you've been playing recently, you might have found a few maggots on corpses. Or a few thousand, perhaps. What are they good for? The wiki is, of course, silent, so we have to test it ourselves. And you can eat them, but they provide so little nutrition that they're almost not worth spending the time on. And no, they won't make you sick, but again, they should be used for bait to get the best use out of them. And as a bonus, they don't turn the fish into zombie fish. So there's that. The second disturbingly grotesque question is from Linar345.
Can you eat dishes with rotten food? From cooking level 7, I think, if you have a weak stomach.
And yeah, you generally don't want to eat rotten food, as a rule. You'll get at least a little food poisoning in the game and won't even pop the noodle, but eat too much of it, or the wrong kind, and burn, death. Better have some lemongrass on you to munch, or you're going to have what the CDC calls
And not a good time.
And weak stomach does make this way worse, even for lightly rotten foods that wouldn't normally even pop you the noodle. But what if they were cooked by a skilled chef? And yes, getting to cooking level 7 allows you to add rotten food to a recipe, and it will remove the sickness taint. Before level 7, you can't even add it to rice or pasta or stew, but after level 7, you're given the option. The thing about poison that you need to understand is that some rotten food will poison you a little, other rotten food won't poison you at all, some will give you outright sickness, others will just kill you, some won't even pop the noodle, but if you slam down a bunch of them, eventually you'll get enough to pop the noodle or even die. But if you're cooking something and it removes the rotten tag, it's going to be mostly safe. Also, getting up to level 7 lets you know if your food is poisoned, or your berries are poisoned, or if somebody's put some bleach where it shouldn't ought to be. But that doesn't magically remove the poison. However, all this being said, your best bet for rotten food is to throw it into this magic food recycler right here that turns it into fresh, clean peace of mind that you can forget about. Don't even bother putting it in the composter. Farming is broken enough, you don't need fertilizer. And there should be plenty of food available to you even on challenge runs that you don't need to eat rotten food. Thanks for the questions. Now, please, go eat something fresh like a nice crisp salad. And if you have any more questions that have been bugging you, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.